Learning how to guide our children without using control and force and manipulation and judgment and punishment is a whole field of study. If this is intriguing to you, I have many videos on here and I'm adding more all the time, so please subscribe to my channel. When I tell people that I am a non-coercive collaborative parent, often the first question is, but what if your kid is running into the street? Or what if they're trying to touch a hot stove? Or what if they are going to grab a knife? What about heavy danger? That's where people go in their minds, because the whole premise of non-coercion is not using force to control your children, but finding a collaborative, loving, mutually respectful relationship where the child is considered equal in value, equal in intelligence around their own needs. And so people can't really understand what that looks like in terms of safety. So let's get into that. So let's just address the extreme situations. If your child is about to be in danger, you can grab your kid, you can yell as loud as you can come in there with a lot of energy, you can save the day, you can keep your child safe. Of course, your body will do it. It's instinctual. It's a very great, wonderful instinct, and we need to follow it. So being a collaborative parent doesn't mean you're a permissive parent. It doesn't mean anything goes. It is a way of creating connection so that you can actually guide your child. The problem is, so many parents view regular everyday things as an emergency, right? Like, oh my God, my kid's getting up from the table without finishing their food. Or my kid is not getting dressed in time. My kid's not getting in the car fast enough. My kid is not using thank you and please. And my kid is not responding to me when I'm calling for them. And the parent who has their own issues has alarms going off in their bodies, and they're responding as if things are an emergency. And then in that state of fear, they feel a strong need to control their children, to criticize them, to punish them, to give them consequences, to shame them, to withdraw your love in an effort to control your child, because you think, the parent thinks in their mind, that they are keeping their child safe. And so safety gets extrapolated into so many areas of life and living. And then the child is taking on that level of fear, and their body starts getting really activated, and they start experiencing things as an emergency. And then it's a very high level of stress. You see? And I mean, a lot of parents try to convince me that things are an emergency. And we have to like slow down and really look at that. Is that the parent's trigger, or is it actually unsafe in the moment? And parents genuinely believe that they are keeping their children safe by scaring them. They believe that even if their kid cries because they were yelled at for getting too close to the road, that will teach them how to be safe. But there's a way to keep your children safe that is actually long-term so much more effective. I'm sure you remember that when you were a kid and your parents were really controlling, that you stopped listening to their advice. You started tuning them out because they were not really listening to you. They weren't really attuning to you. Their advice didn't make sense to you. And you stopped listening and you started resisting. And when kids start resisting their parents' control, that's when they're the most unsafe, because then they can't get their guidance from their parent, and they're not on the same team trying to figure out the dangers of life. They're out there by themselves trying to manage the hard and challenging and very scary real things in life, while also resisting their parents. Do you know how much work that is? That's what I did. I didn't trust my parents' opinion when I was young. I had to hide everything and get around them so that I wouldn't get punished. So I had to experience drinking without ever telling them. I had to experience being around unsafe people. I never told them because I knew I would get in trouble. You know, that's where things get risky. When children feel so judged and controlled that they stop turning towards the parent for the guidance. actually a parent being on the same side as the child and guiding with love and respect and also collaborating is the way to keep your child safe. That is what non-coercive collaborative parenting is all about. That's what it's all about. It's about creating mutual respect so that the child will want your guidance so that you can help keep them safe. They don't have to hide it. They don't have to keep all the secrets. They actually want to tell you things because they need help, because children need help. Children need help, they need guidance, they need advice, and they need modeling. They need the parent to actually model how to handle stressful, hard, scary, dangerous things in life. And they cannot lean into that if they feel criticized and controlled. And if they are going to get things taken away from them, if they're going to get isolated by being put in their rooms and getting everything taken away from them, and they can't see their friends and all that punishing stuff. All the punishing stuff makes children much less safe. It's just a fact. One of the first steps for changing the patterns is for parents to start to own and look at how they were raised, how they were taught about safety, how they were treated, how they were talked to or yelled at or punished, and to really unpack that and to explore the sense of emergency and reactivity that comes up for you as a parent. Where does that come from? What are your beliefs around it? What are the feelings? And because so many parents don't want to sit with their feelings, they don't want to sit with their own fears, they just want to act out. Just like children. Children want to act out, parents want to act out, only we're adults, and it's our job to look at that, to take that apart, and to do better than most of our parents did with us. My daughter comes to me when she's scared about things, and she asks me about it. And she is honest with me, and she has feelings with me. She cries with me. She gets angry with me. She's her whole authentic self, and that has been so much work. So much work on my part. I have to work so hard to be present with love. It is so much internal work. For me, it's therapy, but it's also exploring the underlying programming in our culture, in our society around discipline and authoritarianism and how to care for our kids. So I hope you'll follow along, and I hope you'll learn with me, because it is so worth it. Thanks for listening. There'll be more. I'll be back.
She's my wild storm child, and